There is a space where you are all you need, where you are all you want. All there is here. Welcome to the Source Connection, conversations about who we truly are, the possibilities of creation and the new earth we are birthing, with your hosts, Tarah Long and Liz B.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Source Connection. My name is Tarah Long. I'm here with my co-host, Liz B., and we have a very special guest today. Actually, our first guest ever on this show, Tommy John. Thank you so much for being here.
It's absolutely my pleasure. My pleasure.
And he's got his sword and everything, so we're like ready to go.
Let's do this.
Let's start with a few minutes of just bringing it in, dropping in, meditation. Just get everybody nice and centered. So wherever you are, just go ahead and take a few deep breaths in and out through the nose. And just let that natural relaxation return to the body that is always available to you. Always there for you. Just calming all the systems. And just for a few moments today, I would like us to feel what it's like to have no memory. Just for 2 to 5 seconds at a time. Have no memory. No past, there's no roles, there's no identity, nothing, no memory. What does that feel like? What can you sense that remains when you allow yourself to let go of memory? So when we have no memory, we don't want anything. We don't need anything in that moment. It's just a clean slate. And just get a sense of what remains underneath that. That you that has always been and always will be is changeless and formless, infinite. All right. And just go ahead and shake it out, shake it off. Come on back. That is the Source Connection, my friends. The reason Liz and I asked Tommy to be our first guest actually is we saw you at I guess it was a couple months ago at the Heart of Freedom event. And you were the first speaker at that event. And really, I loved how you set the tone. I mean, even though it was the speakers were totally different. But you really brought kind of the vibe of what we're all about here, which is like, what's right? How can we level up? What are we creating? You know, that whole thing. So we really appreciated that. And really excited to have you on today. So
thank you.
Yeah, so go ahead and let us know about yourself, however you'd like to.
So I'm a student of 20 years of observing people in a clinical setting. And I say student because I truthfully don't know anything. And I'm the more I realize that, the better of a empowerer and a facilitator I become. I've dropped my licensing as a chiropractor, whatever that is. Those schools were a disaster. I've burned my degrees. I've been in soft tissue injury, I guess, for 20 plus years. If you had to niche me or something, just damage to joints and how to heal those. And then observing even just how an ankle heals and the response it does. And when the environment's right, what it can do and how you can level up per just that's an awakening, an opportunity. Why would it be any different for something they would call autoimmune or cancer? Like, is that any different? So then I go to these sources like Dr. Cassie Huckabee, who's doing it purely as a pure medicine woman would do, which are very few and far between in America, especially. And it's the same thing. It's just the body healing itself, trying to get your attention. And if you do it right and you live how a human should live, the body will reward you with existence here on a higher level. And so that's literally what I've been doing, is trying to, especially now with the trauma we've all experienced in 2020, and nobody's immune to that. It's been a major injury, but the body's designed to heal greater than any trauma. Otherwise we wouldn't be here. So I'm trying to really now, with this whole turn of events, try to awaken in some people, or just have them relearn, realize that they've already had this inside them. They don't need anybody's permission to heal or live, or they're not, but they got to stop outsourcing they've already outsourced to government, allopathic, and now they're outsourcing to naturopathic, freedom groups, and all this other bullshit coming down the line. So I'm really, really vocal about trying to bring people back to their autonomous free self, and that they need to do the work. And I'm pissed that if they're not doing the work, they're hurting me, because they're hurting humanity by not healing themselves. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to play babysitter or parent to a bunch of adults anymore. We're done with that. We all didn't get what we were supposed to get as kids. Like, we get it. But now we can't have these adults playing parent to a bunch of adults again. And that's all we have now. It's just this spoon feeding people on a plate. The plate breaks, spills all over them, and we come with another plate. So my big mission now, after 20 years of being in the middle of all this stuff, is just like, God, nobody's higher than anybody else. We're all just on this same path. We're all just humans, which is another reason I dropped the doctor title. We're all just humans in this wonderful experience called life, and that we should be so lucky to be here at this time right now.
Boom. Yeah.
And with that, the podcast is done. Thank you very much.
Hi, guys. See you next time.
Right? That's it.
That's it. I mean,
Can I just, that brought tears to my eyes, and it opened my heart. And I just wanted to acknowledge that. I remember the first time I came across what you were saying and how you were saying. And my first interaction with you was you had worn the V for Vendetta mask somewhere. You had posted that, and I messaged him and I said, I love this, but as a mother, it's too much for me to carry that, because that may make children even more scary, right? And how and we communicated that with each other, and you said, I totally hear that. And ever since then, I've noticed and witnessed your own transformation and how much more raw you have become, just in your presence, in your being, and just really bring every moment, whatever it is, calling forth. And I love that so much about you. And, I'm so grateful to be walking this earth with you this time.
Thank you. No, thank you for saying that. And there's been people who have interviewed me twice, once early on in 2020, and then once now. And they're just like, what's happened to you? Like, what? And honestly, and some people are like, oh, you're sacred masculine. You guys heard me at that talk. You're sacred masculine. You're divine. I'm like, I'm not trying to be anything. I'm literally just trying to be the best version of me for everyone, so that I can experience this. You can experience this. I'm healthy. You're healthy. We're all connected. But it was literally getting deleted twice. That'll just not piss you off. It didn't piss me off. It was just like, wow, I've got some work to do. I can't stop. I just got to figure out another tributary. Like, okay, there was a dam here. Now I'm just flowing like water over to this side. That's the part that was like, wait, if you've ever been on the fence about and nervous about speaking about something, and your family was going to judge you, and you were afraid to take that leap, and you didn't know if dating that person or ending that marriage or whatever, now is the time to do it, because all stuff's up. Like everything's up in the air.
Yeah,
Holy
the
shit.
jig is up. Yeah.
Well, seriously, what an opportunity to just literally drop it all. Drop the stories, drop the editing, drop who you're supposed to be, drop all that. And I literally joked. I said, my last FUCK has left the building last weekend, because I literally have nothing else anymore. Like, I'm not holding anything back anymore. That's how we were raised. I went through the motions. I stood in line. I said what I was supposed to. I went to church with girlfriends, even though I didn't want to. It didn't make sense to me. Like, I'm not going to do this anymore. My life is so valuable, which I think we should all relearn again, like how valuable this life is. I'm not going to spend another minute doing something that's not the best version of me. You know, buddies wanted, well, not buddies, but some people wanted to get together. They came into town, and they're just like, yeah, so here till Saturday, get together, go to the beach Friday. I'm like, no idea. You got to talk to me Friday. And they're just like, what? I'm like, I don't have any idea how I'm going to feel. And if I go to a beach and I'm hanging out with a big group of people that I don't want to be with, and I'm being somebody I don't want to, I'm putting on the face, saying the things, doing the stuff so I don't come across as a dick, then I'm not a better version, being my true self, truth, capital T. Your whole group's not better, because now all of a sudden I'm bringing that in. You're sensing it. You don't. So what do we owe these people? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is this about ourselves? And that was the thing that I'm so glad you recognized that, because I feel like I'm my best version right now. Like I literally, 2020 is my best year ever. Only because, and I'll say every injury is the best year ever, and every insult is the best year ever. Because if we look at them as opportunities, there are ways that we can, my God, we can evolve, because the body is just so designed for this. And I've gotten reacquainted with what, even just the simplicity of connecting with animals, right? Like I connect to that cat outside my house. Just slowing things down. What's important? What's of value? My values and belief systems have been repolished. They were pretty solid before, but now just such an opportunity to do things that you were told you could never do, aren't right. Society will judge you. They're already judging us eating broccoli, you know, I mean, going outside and walking with nothing on my face. I mean, there's so much going on. Oh, throw it all out. And that's why I said, I was on a podcast a couple of days ago, and she messaged me and goes, hey, so in the intro, you said this, and we didn't really go down into that. You said it'd be another podcast, but I didn't give you a chance to explain yourself. People might be set off. Do you want me to cut that out? I'm like, no more editing. Like, none. Just leave it. Let people be and let them interpret it as they wish, but no more filtering, no more editing, no more censoring. You guys didn't know this, but I was on the Health Freedom for Humanity nonprofit that I started with Alex Zeck. He asked me to step down. Beautiful. He's an awesome man. He asked me to step down because of, as a leadership role, because of my posts. They were too aggressive. They were upsetting a doctor in the group. I won't say her name, but I've had enough of her. And other doctors that want to join the group, I'll set them off. And so it's like, wait, I'm in a freedom group and I can't speak. I'm like, okay, I've seen it all. Like, no, again, no offense to Alec and all this. We're friends. That's it. He's in a tough place because of what he wants to do with this. He's going to have to try to manage a bunch of people and a bunch of different agendas, for lack of a better word. But I was ready to commit and I was in, but I just wouldn't sit well with me. I'm not going to censor myself for a freedom group. I'm not going to censor myself for a podcast. I'm not going to be different because somebody's coming into my office, or like the videos you guys see is exactly how I live. There are other people that are like, I wasn't sure about you. And then when I experience you in real life, you are exactly as you are on those things. I'm like, it'd be exhausting to be 2 or 3 different people.
Exhausting.
Yeah. Oh
it's the progression from Dr. Tommy to Ami to Naked TJ. It's like,
Totally.
like the progression of this man. And the interesting thing is, I think for people who are living in authenticity and that integrity, it's so clear and there's no threat to it. Like I can hear you speak and the way you speak doesn't threaten me at all. It empowers me.
Right.
spoke something in me that also fires me up to then want to also, continue in this path of integrity, of being the best version of myself and doing things, in a way that I didn't do yesterday just because. Why not? And you spoke about how precious life is. And I still find myself in moments where I'm like, I just don't understand how somebody can just be so turned off that they're not interested in learning more or understanding what they're putting in their bodies or why they're doing this and all of that. And my mind sometimes just goes, eh. Yeah. And then I find myself like, well, there's all kinds of different players in the game and it's all right. But also like you, I am uninterested in pretending to be something that I am not. I've done that and it was not fulfilling for me. Personally.
For you and anybody you're involved with, for anybody that talks to you. When you think about like consciousness, I interviewed Dr. Dawson Church, who did work with Bruce Lipton to create biology of belief. So he was well in the epigenetics, all that. Consciousness is more infectious than germs. So and that's why I said at the Heart of Freedom, you guys heard me. I said, hey, dads, you can't go march against masks and then go home and feed your kid crap and get him a bicycle that pedals itself, because that doesn't coincide. You're a total fraud and a counterfeit. Husband and wife, you can't have the best sign at the protest and say all this freedom and sovereignty and medical tyranny, down with it, and then go home and have two affairs and you're not okay with it. Like, you're not discussing it. Two affairs behind each other's back, deceiving each other. The kids don't know about it, but they really do. But you're playing the part and you're going to church and you're doing all this stuff. Like, you're infecting people more than any germ ever that they haven't found or whatever. And so I just think when we realize the power of what each of us has individually. Another name drop, Ole Ollerton. I interviewed him well before my page got deleted. And it was a man's perspective, a father's perspective, this whole thing, because the women were beasts. I'm interviewing all these women. They're just like powerful. I'm like, my God. So is there a man that I can interview that's not a total douchebag? And literally, Ole Ollerton was it. And I was like, dude, like, what's going on? So I picked his brain, and he was a former SAS agent, like the badass of badasses. Okay. So he's telling me stories about his Humvees getting shot up, and he's got to do, crazy, crazy stuff. And he said, there's the 1 meter square rule when all the shit's going, and there's 12 of us in a mission. You have 1 meter square to worry about. When all the bullets are flying over, you're hitting a leg, you got all this stuff and everybody's caving in. You worry about 1 meter square around you. You take care of everything within that 1 meter square, meaning you take care of everything for you. And if each of those people do that, then the unit becomes a powerful force, and then they infiltrate and carry out and accomplish mission. And that's what we have now. Dr. Kelly Brogan, or she's not doctor anymore. She let it go. Kelly Brogan. She said, you owe it on a Cowan. Cowan's not a doctor either anymore. You owe it to humanity to heal yourself. Like, that was it. And she said that just in total alpha female, like badass. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a profound statement. I've said heal for yourself. I didn't even think about like the healing of the individual. And that's how you protest. That is how you save. That's how you donate. That's how I want to do something, but I'm stuck in my flat in Scotland, or I'm stuck in Australia, or I'm stuck in wherever you are. That is literally how you will do this. And if we all did that, or a majority or whatever, it wouldn't even matter. You said it. It becomes so clear. The choices we'd need to make, everyone's like, it must be hard to live like you. I'm like, how so? One, everything I do is for love of me. That's not hard. Like, love, everything I'm doing is for benefit. Like, are you kidding me? I absolutely adore myself. Like, that's why I do all this crazy stuff, is so that my body's like, oh, thank you so much. Here's some more function, TJ. But literally where it's, shit, I lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
We're talking.
No. Help me.
It's hard to like live like this. People say, oh my God.
No. Yeah. So it's literally I'm not making choices. Like, I don't have a choice. Yeah. I just see one direction. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, ooh, I don't want to, go hang out with those. I better not. When you just literally tend to those that inside you, it becomes so clear who you're supposed to be with, where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing, how you're supposed to do it, what you're supposed to consume, how much, where to go. And then when the difficult shit comes up in front of you, which is going to keep coming, like life is beautifully difficult. And when it shows up, you just go, I know, boom. And you just make a decision, and you won't even make a decision. You'll just boom. And everyone's like, oh, are you going to get the shot? Oh, are you going to wear a mask? No. Why? Because of technology, blah, blah, blah. Like all the science they think they know and all the research they think they know, which just baffles me. I'm like, no, it just doesn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. And that's all you need to know. I don't need to get into anything else. It doesn't feel right to me because it doesn't make sense. Done. That's all you need to know. Yeah. And so that becomes so easy. It just doesn't feel right.
That alignment, when we stay true to our alignment, there are no more choices, and there is no more doubt, like in every moment. Like
no fear.
No fear, no. Oh, it's so sweet. And we've been talking about, or I think we talked about a few episodes ago, when you stay in that place of alignment, which you touched on, you piss a lot of people off, you know?
Oh God.
Pretty beautiful. I mean, and good for you for like saying no to the health freedom, you know? I mean, yeah, sweet. And so it seems like, of course, as with everybody who's paying attention this last year, there's so much purification going on. I mean, that's what I see it as, just dropping. So what would you say you've really learned about yourself in this past year? Like what's come out that you were like, whoa, or I didn't know that, or?
So, I mean, literally, honestly, my purpose. So I came out to California 6 years ago. Totally on my own, knew nobody, burned all my savings, the whole bit, right? So then my existence was just getting this all started. Published a book, was with a publishing company, all these things. Okay, did a tour, all this stuff. Okay, then this stuff shows up. But I was kind of on this like automated, office is doing well, my freedoms are paid for, life is good. And it's like, well, wait a second. Like I'm helping. So like, what's my greater service here? And so when all this happened, I literally stepped back and was like, what is my role here? Because I'm here for a reason. I'm in the middle of this thing. Everything going on is attacking everything I am as a being. Oh, wait, this is not okay. And so I'm now not fighting because I have a product I'm trying to sell you. I'm fighting for your ability to heal yourself and anybody insulting the power of the human spirit. That's when I get triggered. When somebody's just like, you can't heal them. I'm like, excuse me? What the fuck did you just say? Like, did you just make fun of my mother? Like something like that. Like I won't get triggered if you make fun of all this other, but wait. Do not threaten the human spirit. And that's what's going on. So what could I do? Health Freedom for Humanity comes along. And it was like, okay, this is this is it. I'm literally going to die on this hill and then we saw a redirection and some other things. And I'm like, okay, there was a big thing. The holistic naturopathic health freedom platforms that everyone's all outsourcing to and looking, and all the popular people and fucking posers to the max, almost all of them, like literally just gathering data, gathering emails, making a killing during this whole thing. And they're just getting the popular names and getting videos of the popular people. And I'm like, you guys are worse than the other side. So it's putting a filter through those that I acquaint myself with. Do you know what I mean? And really seeing who's a true human. You're inhuman on the other side, like any of them. And so it's really, when it comes down to it, there's such a small group of people that are honestly true human beings that stand for something that's truthful, that stand for humanity or themselves, and aren't in it for a brand or a product or a like popularity or whatever it is, because it's literally, I've seen it all. And there's people that was like, oh, they're my friend, or they're not my friend. You're not my friend unless you like bail me out of jail at 4 a.m. like that's my friend. You know what I mean? Like you get it, you know my worst, and you're still here. And so that was the big thing, was my purpose, my service has been like reignited, to where it's even bigger than the office. The office doesn't stimulate me enough at all. Like I need more. Not that I need more, I want more. And I'm seeing this role as an opportunity of, damn, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just posting videos right now until something comes along. Then you bump in, just to Dr. Cassie Huckabee, and it's like, wait, she's doing it. She's the only one I've met out of thousands thousands that literally I would trust with myself, who I have, or other patients. Like, okay, there's a very few group, there's a small group of people coming through this thing. Not that everyone can't change, but it's cleaned up my inbox.
Yep.
And in so doing, I freed up a lot of amazing energy to put towards, I don't even know. I mean, I'm pulling shit out of my head with some of the stuff I'm doing with her, and things from deep, sticky gunk shit. And I was operating very well in 2019. Like that's why on her intake forms, she's like, reason for seeing me. I said to fly. And she's like, okay, let's do it. Like without hesitating, was just like, let's go. And then at the last thing I spoke at in San Francisco, I had a conversation with 3 people about flying and their experience with it, and people who have done it. Like that's the earth I want to participate in, is we're having conversations at a pool party about flying because it's happened.
Yeah.
Literally, why do we think that we know what we know? We don't have any idea. We've just been told all this stuff. So I think that's the biggest thing. And Cassie and I joke about it because it's like, I know nothing. Like I truly don't know anything, and I'm so excited about it. And so literally in my office, they'll be like, hey, why do I do this? I don't know. I'm like, I honestly, it's a total guess. I don't have any idea. And they're like, well, how long should I do this for? Till you're disinterested. And they laugh. And I'm like, but how the hell should I know what you need? Right. I don't have any idea. I want you to lead. I'm going to follow you because I'm going to learn some stuff from you. And then they love that. They love that vulnerability and that authenticity and that integrity as a whatever practitioner I am. But I think that's it. I've just been knocked down to naked TJ is not nude. It's like no mass, no status, no label, no degrees, no credentials. And we should all just be naked. Like literally just, clothes, obviously clothes optional, but you know what I mean?
Whatever.
What? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being such a presence and just so in such alignment with how we have our conversations in this platform, because to us, it's all about self-sourcing. We often use that word all the time. It's like self-sourcing. There's always this space in you that if you allow yourself to meet, everything is there.
Yeah.
Everything. It to me, it's like being able to have these conversations. It's really what most excites me. It's like, oh yeah, he knows it too. Right. He knows it. Right? And so it's kind of like having this expansion, as you said. I think that the best gift we give others is healing, like you said. I've always said has been so clear to me. And I want to thank you for something you mentioned, until you are disinterested. And I remember seeing you say that. And I come from the lineage of Kundalini Yoga, which is very uptight, because we 2 minutes and then you pause for 30 seconds and to do that. And I started to, I'm just going to do it until I get disinterested.
Seriously.
It's the best thing ever. I'm like, oh, it's done.
It's amazing. Somebody said, and it's interesting how it gets received. Someone's like, well, then I just wouldn't do any of it. I'm like, but then you're not doing it for a reason. Your intention is off, because you'll see me. The reason I'm doing it is I'm preparing for this life that I get to experience. My spirit is going to travel this earth in this body. My spirit's pretty friggin' amazing. And my spirit has some places it wants to go. So when I go ahead and do things through interest, my interest varies. Maybe my dreams last night weren't something that were kind of shocking, and maybe my nourishment, and maybe the exchange, maybe I'm just not feeling it. So I go in, and what's this? This is where I'm interested. And then the next day, all of a sudden, whoa, you're a savage today. I was a savage yesterday, just a different kind of savage, right? But all of a sudden, life just demands all these different levels of energy at different intensities for different durations, for different amounts of force and everything else. Like, I don't know. Let's just figure this out. Because I do remember when we were infants and we were our most connected, we didn't have any fucking trainers and specialists and and all these people getting involved. We were just all bombing around, innately driven, nobody competing, just exploring, challenging. The sky was the limit because we didn't know fear or limitation. I think I heard somewhere on a TED Talk maybe you guys could confirm if you've heard it, but we're only born with two fears, true fears. And I think it's loud noises. Like when you clap, a baby will startle, like and then falling. Like we fall and it's like, whoa. And they go, everything else is learned. Everything else is told. Like, oh my God. So I learned a lot. I said this, I have a post coming because I got this epiphany while I walk. When I walk, my brain's just like, yes, ideas. And it was like, I will only take advice from you after I've exhausted these three people first. Infant, meaning I'm taking advice from an infant, a woman, and a cat. So I'll go to an infant first, a woman, and a cat. After those three, if I'm not sure of something, I'll come to you. And that's it. It's literally the most connected people on the planet are those three right there. And if we need much more past that, we're in trouble.
It's simple. Oftentimes, it's simple. What do you think has contributed to people really like disconnecting from themselves? I know this is a broad question and it's so lot, but
so I in dealing with the youth sports injury epidemics, that's what the book was about. And it was this whole niche because my name's attached to the surgery. That's my dad's surgery happening in youth and all this stuff. But it was like, we were sympathetic dominant, like everything's all ramped up, just stimulated all the time. We're over-teched, we're over-educated, we're over-professionaled, we're overfed and malnourished, which seems like a paradox, but there's just no nourish. I mean, it's a combination of all of it, right? We're on the other side of the window. We don't know what sleep is. We've been so afraid of our feelings now that we've been told are disease. You know, like your feelings are a disease. Holy shit. That is crazy. That's such a crazy racket. And my brother, he's on my forearm. Like he was in that psychiatric world and I trained his psychiatrist for 2 years. So we can get into medications, right? We can get into what the fitness industry, the movie industry, the music and fashion and beauty and all that bullshit. It's like what they've done to women or what they've suggested to women, which is disconnect and take them down from having any power or autonomy whatsoever. And now you got my little niece at 12 years old when she was 12, like wondering if she has a belly. Like, how do you even know this? And it was just like, oh my God. And so we've just outsourced it to so many people over the last, I've only been in it for 20 years, like aware of this. And in 2019, I was like, we're at a low, the lowest of the low I've ever seen evolution I've ever witnessed ever. And something is going to happen. I didn't know this was going to happen, but I thought some huge, huge thing. Yeah. The people who have been practicing for 40 years, the Cowans and the Northrops, right? They're like, oh my gosh, we're not any better. But we think we're so amazing because we have technology or because we can research something real quick. And we're an expert in very bad things, right? Like we can read all these things, but it's like, that's why I said that post about, I don't care how many books you read. That's not impressive. How many books have you applied? We don't know what self is. We don't have a value system. We don't have a belief system. The family unit has been broken down. The men, the whole roles. And I mean, it's everything, right? It's everything. It's scary, but we are able to take it back. That's the beauty of the human. It doesn't matter how far gone you think you are or how far along the timeline. If you're still here, you're still here. Because I have people at the Heart of Freedom. I was like, you're still alive, right? Okay. You're good. Like you can do this. Like you can change this. The body's ready to adapt for the better. It's always got your best interests in mind. We just need to figure out another story and tell it another story. Write another story.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh, there's so much there that you said it.
Right.
I'm like, where do I go from here?
I know. It's so thick. It's like 10 podcasts.
It's so much. And that's why our show is called The Source Connection, because we always bring it back to like whatever source, whatever that is for you, whatever that feels like, which I want to ask you that too. But that is the disconnection from that space. Like that's it. Like knowing we're already whole, pure. That's it. That's where anything is created, where everything we have. But I wanted to ask you about your Burn the Degrees video, which I loved because I was an acupuncturist for like 15 years. And gosh, if I were to go back and practice now, it would just be so, I don't think I could actually, which is I outgrew it. You know, I was like,
right.
no, I can't do this anymore. I know it's a great permission slip for a lot of people. I'm not, you know,
Right.
that's great. That's wonderful. But I just totally outgrew it. And then to see you burn those degrees, to go through what I know that we, like the school, the 4 years, the arduous, you know, and we talk all the time about labels and how they're just totally meaningless. So how was that to sit down at that fire and just like watch those things burn? And just, I watched it, just the biggest smile on my face. It was amazing.
So I had the idea for quite some time, but in California, apparently you can't light fires just anywhere.
Right.
So I had to try to find a strategic place. And I have a firefighter as one of my clients, and he was a little miffed about it, but I'm like, I dug a hole. It was surrounded by rocks. There was no wind, you know. But it was one of those things. Those were just the paper. Like it was what it stood for, right? It was the calling out of all of that. And so I never used the paper. It always just seemed like taxidermy heads on the side, on the walls of my offices or apartments. Everyone's like, oh, what's that? Like a moose I shot one day. Pretty cool, right? What's it mean to me? Absolutely nothing. Like, I don't use any of it. It's not like I use the meat of the moose no, I don't have anything. It's just a head on the wall. And then it just looking into what I went through in chiropractic school and how it's set up and accredited by an organization that has you feeding. Like, what's the biggest class we had? Tumor identification. Why? To send them back into the model. Like, oh my God. And then there was like orthopedic shit to send them into the same model. I'm like, holy crap. They literally have it set up to just have thousands of us wheeling them back in. And then you're in debt. So you know you're going to do anything it takes. You're going to sell anybody out to pay your bottom, you know, your bills and everything else. And I'm like, oh my God, it's perfect. And then I talked to Cassie about naturopathic school because I was like, chiropractic school is an absolute sham. And I went to one of the best ones. What about naturopathic schools? Because she went to the best one in the States. She's like, same thing. It's the exact same thing. That's why I boldly stated all of them need to come crashing down. And everyone's like, holistic too? Yeah. Yeah. Because it's hard. If you're really onto something and you're a true purist medicine man and woman, you're not going to be able to exist. They're going to try to hide you or take you out or cut you down. And if you're a school that thinks you're doing it, they would take you out. They would there's no way they'd accredit you. So that's why everything just needs to come crashing down. So it was very, oh my God. I mean, there's so many like layers that I've shed that I'm just like, oh, I just leveled up. When I left Health, Freedom for Humanity, I woke up and was like, boom, I don't have this sitting over me where I'm selling myself out. I can't fake it. I don't know how to fake it. I truly don't. And that's an art for some people when there's like, you have it on your face and you're just being really rude right now. I'm like, but I don't know if it's a bad thing. Like, just let me leave then, because I can't, I can't fake this right now. You know what I mean? And I think that there's more of that. So it was part of just going through the motions, and it was kind of cool hearing doctor. And then the more it said, I was like, wait, this isn't cool at all. It's just weird. Wait, I'm not any better than anybody else. Wait, the people I trust actually and go to for help if I'm struggling with certain things or I want an idea to pass by or a theory or a challenge, they're not doctors. They do what they do, but they're not accredited or credentialed. I'm like, some of the most fascinating people in my life that are behind my health aren't these people. And then what we're seeing now with this beautiful, beautiful trauma of 2020, it was just all a part of it. It was such a perfect time to just kind of do it. And then I love that your view of that, because there was a lot of people that messaged me and they were like, thank you so much for doing that. And I did not know it was going to go that. It was more for me and just kind of like my statement, but I didn't know it was going to have such a profound reverberating ripple effect.
Yes.
It always, we're talking about.
I was just going to ask if that was what kind of got, because I think after that is when you got, that account got deleted. Was that what did it? Okay.
Yeah. Well, whoa, hold on. They were actually taking out everybody.
Yeah, I remember that sweep.
They did it. They did a massive slam piece in the Bureau of Investigative Journalism on Health Freedom for Humanity, targeting Alec, Joe Yee, and myself. And that's funded by Bill Gates, Dr. Bill Gates. I was about to say doctor. That's funded by Bill Gates. And at the very bottom, it said funded by Bill Gates. So they targeted us. So then all of a sudden, Health Freedom for Humanity, all the members were all getting deleted like within the same week. And then all of a sudden, I'm literally on a podcast with Alec, like about to go on, and it got deleted like real time. And so our guest didn't show up at the time. And so we just went ahead and recorded a live and just went live on what I was feeling because I hadn't experienced that yet. And I was like, you know what? It's bothering me right now that I'm wasting time doing this live when I have a post I want to put up. Like I have an idea because it's just a stream of consciousness, right? It's just like this. I get a post. I'm like, oh, post it. Like I don't plan posts.
Yeah, totally.
Although I have a honey of a one for tomorrow because it's National Sunscreen Day. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
National Sunscreen Day. And that's fitting that right before June, when Gates is going to block part of the sun over Scotland or Sweden or whatever, they have National Sunscreen Day days before this event's going to take place. It's like, so I have a naked picture. I will be naked and I will be saying a lot of shit. So stay tuned for that.
Can't wait.
Now, they've always had National Sunscreen Day, or is this a new thing?
I think it's a new thing because I'm very aware of all these amazing holidays we get to celebrate. And I just never heard it before. And somebody sent me a DM and was just like, hey, National Sunscreen Day on Friday, maybe some fodder for a post. It was a dude. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. This is perfect. Time to get naked. Like what a time to just like take all my clothes off and be like, fuck you. Yeah.
Just the whole concept of it always boggled me, like let's just lather ourselves with all this chemicals to block our bad source that literally will infuse you with everything that you need because it creates this disease thing. It's just the whole thing. And a lot of times I'm with my daughter and then, family or whatever. Oh, here's the sunscreen. We're good. Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know.
In my life, I think Tarah and I can relate to this, but I don't have any more energy to argue that. I feel like hanging so low at this point. Like, just
like you said, zero fucks. Yeah. Zero.
Grab it, eat, infuse yourself with whatever it is. So it's a choice,
Exactly. That's why I don't engage. I don't. And I said that somebody wanted to engage with me or something or send me stuff. And I joke, right? I said, I'm too busy sunning my balls. Yeah. Like whatever that means, right? Like whatever that means, right? Like you're too busy living this just massive life to even care. Like I'm good. Just move away. Just move aside. Like I'm moving forward.
Yesterday, I had this big realization because, being like a nurturer and my heart like just breaks every day, right? And I see it as an opportunity for just to strengthen them as a muscle. It just gets stronger and bigger and bigger and like can accommodate more of the hurt and the pain and the joy and the freedom, everything. And for the first time yesterday, I was feeling clear that all the pain throughout of all of this and the casualties and the carnage that we're seeing. Yeah. This is all casualties of war. I felt for the first time to where I felt peace within myself. Like I'm not really, it's once I heard Dr. Christian say it and it really stuck with me, like giving everybody the dignity of their timeline, right? And just really giving that. It doesn't mean not to speak what you think. It's none of that. But it's just really, just allowing for people to be exactly where they're at and go through exactly what they need to go through. And I echo you in the sentiment that I just like my life too much. I like myself too much.
Right.
Rock star. I'm like, dude, I can't just be like, I don't know. I don't care. It's, good. And I'm like, I can't. I was telling a friend the other day, he was talking about this girlfriend and this and that. And that. don't you feel like you're too precious to like give your time and your presence to somebody who just doesn't appreciate it? Like, to me, it's just so simple.
Right.
And then again, here we are. And
Yeah.
I don't feel pain. Doesn't mean I don't hurt.
Oh, no.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
every
like
day.
every day. I feel like if our hearts are not cracking every day and what it's going on, it's like we're desensitized. And
Thumbs up. Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, like learning how to have a healthy relationship with our feelings to me has been one of the biggest gifts through all of this. It's just like, it's okay to feel, and what is the message and what's the opportunity there? And too much numbing and disassociation. And I feel like, again, like you spoke of your own presence and what that brings and the ripples of that. It's all the invisible. It's all the magic.
Right.
Of being in this universe that, again, we don't understand. We don't have to, because we feel it. And we know greater, awareness of who we are. So thank you for bringing that into form and showing others how you do it your own way. Thank you for being you.
Well, thank you for saying all that. And on that, I've gotten DMs before and they're like, are you just always happy every day? And I'm like, or how do you have energy to do what you do? And I was like, well, one, no, I'm content. Like, I'm not happy, but like, I'm totally at peace with it all. Like I'm fine with, but I get depressed. I get terrified. I get jealous. I get angry. I get all this stuff that's not pretty, but those are the good feelings too. Like, those are good lessons. Those are healthy human expressions. And I'm supposed to feel those. And they're awesome. But what are they telling me? What are they telling me about who I was just with, or the encounter I just had? Or what does that say about me? Or how can I learn about myself? And then I go ahead and take action on that for however long I sit with it. And that action is what you guys are seeing. And I'm showing, like, hell yeah, I feel down and up. But if I keep listening, keep moving forward, and don't outsource my energy to, then I have all this to go and to process that. Yeah. Because I did it in my office. I did it to a gentleman. He's 70 something. And he said he had an argument with his wife. And I was like, okay, this was on Saturday and he dragged it out over the weekend. This was Monday. So I was like, you know what? We're going to do something different today, because I had sort of an idea of what I was going to put him through. He comes like 5 days a week and he's like, no, I want to go. We'll go hard. And I'm like, well, no, here's what's happening. You are just in an event. You're in a traumatic experience where there's injury of some kind. There's really just insult and experience, and there's stuff going on, and you have energy, only finite amount of energy that can go to certain things at certain times. So right now, you are putting this energy towards not digesting, not breathing, not handling memory. You're like in a sympathetic fight or flight. You're trying to process. If I kept pushing you in that one direction, energy is going to go from those organs, those cells, those tissues that are supposed to kind of survive you. Then they're going to go over to here to repair and function and do this. And it's going to rob you of that experience. Now, let's say we do that again, because once this is done, it goes back over to there to process. And you keep doing this shit. And then all of a sudden that never gets resolved. And now it becomes a chronic thing that was just an argument with your wife, which everybody should have. Right. Maybe listen to her more, or whatever it is, right? But it's one of those things where if I wasn't respectful of that or aware of that, I'm now not medicine. My practice is not a place of health. And that's what we've got now. We've got all these things out there, which if people are honest, you're not doing the world any better. And that's why I keep saying we don't need more professionals. We just need more healthy people. Like, just be a healthy friggin' person, and you're an inspiration. You just said it right there. I will almost like drop my practice. How will you help people? Because I'm going to be a walking fucking image of what my philosophy is on all that. And people are like, wow, I always see you eating fruit, or wow, I always see you breathing through your nose, or taking these long walks, or you only hang out with certain people, or you always leave early instead, because it seems you value sleep. You're always laying in the sun. You're always, yeah. Now all of a sudden you're an inspiration instead of making money off of some system because you created some algorithm that nobody needs and doesn't fit for you, others, but it works for you. But it's just a principle, right? And so that's where I was like the feelings thing, and then the embodiment of it. And that's why when you say thank you, I appreciate that, because somebody else messaged and they're like, I love your life. Like, what can I do? I want to do a coffee enema. I want to do this. I want to do this. No, don't, because it doesn't work that way. Because they'll get pissed. Why won't you tell me why you do coffee enemas? And I'm like, because it doesn't matter. I'm just showing you that I'm doing it to inspire you, to trigger you to go research it, or personal experimentation. What the hell does it mean to you? Go see. Go do it for 3 months. You're not going to die. Go lay in the sun for 3 months. Yeah. Go do whatever. Just do it.
Find your
Real
thing.
medicine isn't dangerous. Like, that's the thing. Everyone's like, you're going to hurt somebody. It's not. The hurting maybe might be the lesson. Like, we don't catch everybody all the time, right? We need to fall more. We need to experience more. We need to bottom more. We need to change direction more. We need to feel more.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're taking away their lesson.
Counterfeit life.
They're supposed to fall. They're supposed to do all those things. Otherwise, how do we grow? How do we learn? We're just sterile society. Just like, don't feel anything. Feel okay. Here's the pill. Da, da, da.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's back to feeling. It's back to being.
Yes.
To me, blind because we're so scared of feeling. The epidemic of numbing out, of tuning out, all of that. And it's like, the only way out is through, like, just go for it. Just dive in the, whatever thing it is that you're feeling. And it also, like, it, I don't know, the times that I've experienced depression, and I wasn't aware of that. I was trying to avoid it. So it persisted. And the minute I just faced it head on and just went for it, like, wow, feels really low, feels really just, and it's like it loses its power all of a sudden. It gains a dimension and a different effect. And again, your experience, thank you for the coffee enemas, because, I did all that stuff all my life because I grew up with a mom who, from very early on was like, house and we do enemas and all that. That Buddha talk about it. I was like, I didn't tell my like, yeah, I do that. And it was like, oh, now we can talk about it.
I love a good
body and just be like, all right, guys, just try it.
Let's do it. Seriously.
They're great. I give you so much energy. I love coffee enemas.
Right.
So I want to respect time.
Yes. Where we at?
Time, Tommy. So I just want to wrap up. I want to ask you a few questions maybe we can end with. And Liz, I don't know if
of course.
But so you mentioned one time in something you were saying about the truth, just the truth of being human. So what is that to you? And what are you most excited for in this new paradigm?
So I think truth to human, like, what is that? It's like the individual expression of us, like whatever that is, unapologetic, unedited, as I said, uncensored, like getting back to things we love. Like, what do you love? Non-judged, like not what do you truly love? Not what your mom loved or what your spouse loves, but truly just you. I think there's a reason that what we're seeing rolled in because they went at health. I think there's something very powerful of the health of the human being, not the economy of the human being, and I know there's economic health. There's, that's not what I'm talking about. Like the true, your expression and your health is very high up there. And like, when we give up health freedom or medical freedom, we lose everything it is to be a human. So you want to be free, be the healthiest version of yourself. And you literally, in Mandela, Viktor Frankl, these dudes were in concentration camps, in prison, and seriously went inside to figure out how to make the best life for themselves. And when you hear their recollection of those environments, it sounds like you and I at the beach. It sounds like you and I, because they took that in, and that was the purest level of freedom, was their autonomy, their sovereignty, their individual expression of that. So try to find what it is for you. What do you believe in? What do you value? And fight like hell for it. And then will be the groups that you're supposed to kind of coagulate to, or the communities that will just pop up. but we got to watch out for outsourcing to somebody to save us, or somebody to come in and end this whole thing, or whatever, moving forward. Even if this didn't happen, we could still have the same conversation, right? Oh, and then thing I'm most excited about. So when I was in San Francisco, we spoke. It was Dr. Edith, myself, and then David Rodriguez. And we all brought different levels of experience and areas of experience. And a woman, she had this cute German accent. She was like 70, one of the mothers of the person there. And she was just so awesome. She stood up and she was like, how do we prepare for the next 3 months? What's going to happen in the next 3 months or whatever? And so I gave my thing. And then I want to say Dr. Edith. So mine was, we have no idea. We have no way of predicting what's coming. We have no way of knowing for certain. Even the people that claim to know don't know, because nobody knows. So just because we don't know, how do you invoke power and confidence and faith and belief? Well, you just go inside and you work on yourself and you find little bits every single day. I call them the 8 essentials to make it easy. It's a belief in something greater than yourself, your purpose, your relationships, sleep, naps, breath, meditation, prayer, outdoor light exposure, nourishment, and movement. And if you go ahead and take an inventory of these and just slowly start to make certain things medicine in these columns, all of a sudden, 3 months later, you're a completely different person. You're a total different person today than you were yesterday, right? So like, every day, it doesn't even matter what they come up with or what they cook or what the story is or how it shifts. Doesn't matter. And so that's mine. Was I'm excited for people because they're realizing this. They're realizing like they got a lot in their own hands and within themselves. And then it really doesn't matter where this story goes. And then Dr. Edith goes, you know what? I'm not really worried about it because we're in a backyard of a bunch of people who are buying a bunch of land in California, like hundreds of acres to form communities. They're homeschooling. They're doing all. We never would have found this had they not done these things. So if they want to keep doing it, whatever they is and whatever, great. We're gonna keep forming groups and we're gonna keep doing all these cool things. And people are gonna keep having these realizations. What they don't realize is the human spirit, when backed up, it's a force. Like they don't get that for every trauma, the healing response is greater. And that's why they don't respect it. They don't respect the human. Hence why they're doing what they're doing. But the human is the most powerful thing on the planet. The spirit of the human is literally the most powerful force we have. Like it's infinite. The potential is unlimited. You have no idea. We're not a data point. We aren't an algorithm. We aren't a degree. We aren't a label of any kind. We aren't who we were yesterday. I said, how do you get bored with your partner? They're a total different person when they wake up. Ask them questions. What do you dream about? What are you doing? What are you craving? Oh my God, who are you today? How the hell do we get bored with anything is beyond me. So that's what's exciting me moving forward is if they've got crazy stuff planned or if there's some really cool, gnarly, dude, you haven't even seen levels that we've got. And I can't wait to see the potential of some of these people that I've been eyeballing for a while show up because it's such a beautiful thing when you see it.
Yeah, leveling up.
So beautiful. Thank you so much for everything you brought today and the energy and the passion and the, oh my God, it's just amazing to spend this time with you.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll have to do round 2 because there's lots more to talk about, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Much love.
Awesome.
See you
Got it, guys.
soon. Thank you. Bye.
Of course. Thank you.
Good one.
Take care, you guys.
You too.